This is the new Nest Audio from Google, and much like the Chromecast that it was launched beside, it brings a lot to the table for its price. So the question becomes, is it worth your money? Let's take a look. So let's start with the hardware on this thing, because at the end of the day, I can tell you all of the specs of this device, and that's not really going to inform you too much on how the thing sounds or performs in real life. But a lot of people want to know these things, so let's blow through them real quick. Okay, let's start with the outside aesthetic here. This is covered completely almost, other than the bottom foot, in the same fabric. Well, we'll call it fabric. It's like a recycled plastic, 70% recycled plastic that Google's been using on its home stuff for a little bit now. So if you've seen a original Google Home, the Nest Mini, the Google Home Max, all that stuff is covered in this like fabric-y looking stuff. And the cool part about it is it is transparent to touch and audio. So it's actually, you can see as I touch here, touch can travel through it, but also audio can pass through it both ways clearly. So all of your vocal commands pass right through it. And then most importantly, all the speaker sounds come through it without being distorted in any way. It also comes in 5 colors this time around. So this is chalk. There's also charcoal, sage, sand, and sky. So basically, based on your decor, you can probably find a color that would work well for you. On the top of the device, you have some touch controls here. There's no visible notification that those are there, but they are there. So in the center, you get a play pause button. On the left and right, you get audio adjustments. And that's really about it as far as how you would go about controlling this speaker. Around the back side, there is one single switch here. There's no aux port, unfortunately, so there's no plugging in any auxiliary input methods, but there is a switch on the back that will turn the microphone off or on so that you know for sure if you need to keep that privacy up and you want to flip that switch, you have a hard switch to be able to turn the microphone off. Underneath all of this cloth exterior here lie the things that really matter in making a smart speaker good. And instead of just the single speaker we had on the original Google Home, this one comes with 2 distinct speakers. So you have a 75mm woofer and a 19mm tweeter. And that's going to help in kind of differentiating the sound here. This thing is set to be 75% louder than the original Google Home and have 50% more bass response. And from what we can tell, we're going to talk about how it sounds here in a few minutes. What we can tell, I think that is the case here. It's not wildly louder than the Google Home. It just sounds a whole lot better. And I think a lot of that is due in part to the way that they engineered the speakers inside this thing. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's a speaker, so that's a really important thing. It doesn't really matter how they got there, just the fact that they separated those speakers out and it's creating a much better overall sound. Paired up with those 2 speakers are 3 microphones, so this thing is really good and adept at picking up your voice from across the room just about anywhere. I mean, honestly, compared to just about any other Google Home device, I've found that this one is really, really good at picking up my voice, no matter whether it's playing music loudly, or it's playing back a podcast or something like that. It just picks up my voice really quickly, and I like that. Finally, Google has taken some time to really tune the audio on this, and it's a little bit different from what they've done with the Google Home Max, which is insanely impressive, honestly. The Max can take its microphones and listen to the sounds around it and form itself to fit the room, basically, from an audio perspective. This isn't doing all of that crazy stuff, but Google did take samples from thousands of different songs and allow the machine learning to configure the way that this thing sounds based on what's coming out of it. So if you're listening to a podcast, it's going to adjust itself to sound better for spoken word. But then if you're listening to hip hop, it's going to adjust itself to sound better for that. And then if you change to country or folk, it's going to adjust itself to sound better for that type of music. And that helps and goes a long way, because a lot of people don't want to mess with changing equalizers and adding bass and removing bass and trying to figure out what makes it sound better. This thing just kind of does all that stuff for you. So in a nutshell, that's all the technical stuff that's going on here. We've got more speakers this time around. We've got more bass response. We've got better high ends. We've got really good microphones. We've got a cool look. We've got different colors, all that stuff. And those things are great. But at the end of the day, this is a smart speaker. So as long as it picks up your voice well, can respond to your actions really quickly, and it sounds good, that's kind of all it needs to do. And for $99, I think 100% across the board, Google has absolutely knocked it out with this speaker. The assistant on this speaker, like most new Google Home-based products, is built in, so it responds really quickly to voice actions. Again, like I said, with the 3 microphone array, it picks up my voice easily and quickly almost every time as soon as I call on it. But most importantly, this speaker goes a long way towards sounding far better than the $99 asking price. While we had it here at the office in these big rooms and tall ceilings, it was a little underwhelming in those scenarios. Once I took it home and actually replaced my Google Home, the old Google Home, with this speaker, I was kind of blown away, honestly. The sound, the punchiness of the bass, the crispness of the highs, all the mid-ranges, all the layers of the audio that I could pick out in my home was kind of astounding. I really love the way it sounds, and I was very surprised by the fact that I could sit in one place and no matter where I walked in the room, and we kind of have a circular downstairs in our lower level of our house, it just carried the audio just cleanly across any angle that I was standing. So it didn't feel like, oh, if I would have put it over there, I could hear this better. If I put it over here, I could hear that better. One spot in our room, it just kind of widely radiated and covered just about the entire downstairs. And I was super impressed by how well one speaker was able to just fully fill out the bottom level of our house. Now, I need to be honest, at the end of the day, here at the office, I still love the Google Home Max, and at $300, I still think that's a fantastic speaker. And if you're looking for a full range audio that can fill up a huge room and just blow you away, that's the direction you need to go. And if that's what you're expecting out of a $99 speaker, you're going to be let down. But what Google has put together in this $99 speaker is an easy buy, to be honest with you, because most people are going to set this on a shelf in their home. It looks great, it works well with the Google Assistant, and as soon as you crank up some audio on it, you're going to be very pleased with the fullness it has, even at low levels, to be able to replicate all the natural sounds of the music or the spoken audio that you choose to listen to. Finally, if one of these speakers isn't enough, Google's actually made it very simple to set up auto pairing with these. So if you have 2 of them in the same room, they can be set up to be a left and right stereo pair to add just a little bit more bass and a little bit more high-end response and just a little bit more overall volume to your room if you need it. So at the end of the day, to wrap it up, I love this speaker. I really enjoy how it sounds. I enjoy how quickly it responds with Google Assistant, and it 100% is going to replace my aging Google Home. I think it does everything better across the board. I don't know that you would want to go buy one of these for every one of your rooms. I think the Nest Mini does a good job in bedrooms and throughout the house to do all the basic Google Home stuff. But if you're looking for a speaker that is going to give you nice, round, full, rich audio, and you don't want to break the bank with something like a $200 Sonos one or something like that, I think the Nest Audio is a high consideration. And if you're already plugged into the Google Home ecosystem of speakers, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's a fantastic speaker at a fantastic price, and it's something that is so easy to recommend. But guys, that's it for this one. If you like this video, go down there and hit that thumbs up button. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell that's right next to that if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.